Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel. Welcome to the third video of Monday. This will be the last one of the day. I should be streaming by the time this video goes out. So come over to twitch.tv/RichTheMan live to chill out. Now for this video, I decided, even though I'm sure a lot of people have already done the boss rush, so this is really for those that haven't done it or considering options, or it's up to you. If you're supporting the channel, then you're supporting these vids, so thank you very much. If you're curious what team I was using or what team I sported, was this one here. I'm going to go into a large amount of detail as to the champions coverage that you can do. Shout out to the Discord. So if you don't know as well, if you're a member of the Discord, which is free by the way, link is in the description, we'll go over things like tips, tricks and stuff for some of the videos, interactions and content that kind of comes out on a monthly basis. So one thing that came up was everybody came up with suggestions. So if you want to go over to the Discord, you would have seen me post the following, which is below at the moment, based on other people within this community, not just myself, and I will be going over my experience and as well as some of the champions I use and recommend. It will also go hand in hand with the amazing considerations that the amazing Discord have come up with, which is on screen now, as I said, that Sorcerer players were using Elsa first, they were using Apoc, Archangel and Sunspot, Sorcerer, Void, Human Torch, Capiw, Infinity War with Tech on team. Doctor Doom, Elsa Bloodstone, Red Guardian, Archangel, against Black Widow, the Archangel, Apocalypse, Venom, Doom, Professor X, Warlock, Ghost and Corvus. Jubilee, Apoc, Black Widow, Clairvoyant, Colossus, Doctor Doom, Mojo, Ghost, Corvus, Warlock. Tigra, Cosmic Ghost Rider, very weird pair up there, but if it works, it works. Havok, because it heals from the Psychic Thorns. Quake, Nick Fury, Doctor Doom, Domino, Apoc, and Capiw, Infinity War. And finally, Storm, Namor, Quake, Apoc, Archangel, Horseman, that was me. I used Archangel as Horseman, very effective. Ghost, Domino, Corvus, Warlock. Now onto the fights and interactions. Now I already had this preset plan, and I think I did say 2 champions in my top 5 tips for the month. I'm pretty certain I said something along the lines of Apocalypse and Human Torch will be 2 key champions there, and they were. You know, funnily enough with that one, they were, which was great. By the way, that was just a really weird guess because, look, same thing. Bleed, vulnerability, and distract is there, so it's great to kind of have Archangel as an option. But I can really see where Apocalypse having those multiple debuffs and Sunspot as well comes into play. Black Widow, Deadly Origins for a slight shout, but that's the case of if you want to play into the narrative of that bleed vulnerability. And yes, there are several other champions, but it's just a case of how you ramp that up, how quickly, and how you do. And I would say with that, just stick to the SP1 and try to avoid as best as possible. There are champions to deal with that maybe will block unblockables if you are someone that finds it very difficult, like Red Guardian, but it's not really playing the correct narrative. Mr. Sinister could be another option as well if you're not very good with blocks unblockables, which will come into play and be effective further down the line. But it's up to you as well. Another thing is if you play into the persistent charge narrative. Starting off with Corvus, if you want to start off with, but it's going to be further down the line. Corvus is going to come into play, picking up future missions, which will be on Black Widow and as well on Jubilee in tow. Now, a lot of people have gone for science-based champions on the pair-up, especially with Void being a really solid option, Human Torch being a very solid option, Capiw, Infinity War, very solid options. But do bear in mind, don't parry, because it won't do anything. It's stun immune. So a lot of the times you'll be playing the intercept game, which I was doing myself, and then maybe throwing footage over the top of this of me indeed doing that, because that's unfortunately the name of the game with this. The nodes that really kind of possess themselves aren't too bad. I would say if you're using or deciding to using the likes of Apocalypse, it can play into the narrative of being disorientate immune after a few times on the timer that it is indeed applied to this one. But other players using Red Guardian, I mean, that helps, class advantage and all that. Archangel, people were using as well, and Doctor Doom as well to power control, which, look, you know, that helps out, especially when it comes to filling power and also suppressing things like arc overload and things like that. So yeah, there's your options for that. Lots of fun interaction. And shout out to Queen of Pawns. By the way, I did choose Queen of Pawns profile thing, and the reason being she's a Marvel Realm of Champions player like me, and as well I use and I do like Sorcerer Supreme and Marvel Realm of Champions. I gear it specifically, and it's a great fun champion. But anyway, I digress. Moving forward, and we have got Black Widow. I love the fact, and shout out to the lovely people that did the boss rush challenge, because they're putting in these fun little things like the vulnerabilities and things like that, and Kabam allowing them as well to do that. Because it just means that this could be more of an option for those using 4-star versions as well. And it's not just about 5 stars and 6-star versions, which I tried to use less of the 6-star versions as possible and trying to stick to 5-star versions. Sun vulnerability is fun for this one. We have got power reserve, which is special attacks for both champions cost 50% less. So if you did want to use Doctor Doom or any champion that interacts, that may be an option. But for me, using Archangel was a good one. Apocalypse as well. Someone even used Venom, which I think is a good shout, especially for when times would need that kind of interaction. And also with Professor X, you know, there's some good options as well. Warlock and Ghost. Corvus, as I said, this is the one. If you want to start building up your missions, this really is the first one to actually build on. Then, moving on to Jubilee. Jubilee has Conflictor every 7 seconds. The next debuff activating defender is immediately purified. Each time this triggers, the defender gains 50% of the bar of power. A bit of an iffy one for you to choose. If you want to go down the route of power control because you are worried about that, then you might need to do that. However, though, there are some really decent options to interact with this champion. As I said, if you're looking for your second mission, this may be a Corvus thing for you. But Warlock, you've got Doctor Doom, could be good when it comes to either with power control. You've got damage ramp up with being class advantage with Ghost. And as well, you could have like again Apocalypse because you build up those genetic charges. The ones that I think it's genetic charges. The ones that are basically it's basically your prowess. You're building up your prowess. You know, the more that you have based on the interaction with the mutant, the more damage you're going to do from special attacks. It's kind of a no-brainer, but there could be some things there to watch out for, especially with the throwing of special attacks, which is with feet of energy. There's one here. When is it? That's it. Disarray. Whenever champions receive a random effect, and it could be anything. You know, imagine you getting like a poison on you or something. I think it got degen a few times on me, and it wasn't particularly nice. But you know, those are some options there to take on that. Moving swiftly on to Tigra now, and yeah, pull projectile-based attacks deal 100% more damage. Non-projectile-based attacks deal 75% less damage. Not great. As well, power shield. That's the fun side of things. And for me, I made a few mistakes with this fight. I really did. I had a really kind of like good moment where I did an absolutely amazing SP2 evade of Tigra. You know, it just proves that sometimes I can actually play this game well. Other times, not so well. A few dropped inputs here and there, but that's just a normal thing that really kind of like happens with just this game at the moment. But it is what it is. Psychic Thorns. Now, somebody did say that Havok heals from these. So if that interaction is indeed correct and indeed good, then that may be an option. Doctor Doom, Nick Fury. I mean, there's 2 phases for Nick Fury, so you're probably going to have yourselves a little bit of fun with that if you've got the Awakened version. And if not, class advantage, all fun all the way. With that, you just got to keep your distance when it comes to those specials. And also, yeah, just watch out for... I think that's it, actually. I think it's... Unless you've got to watch out for... Well, I think it's Psychic Thorns, really, is a thing to watch out for. When a defender is struck with a physical contact attack, the attacker takes 5% of the defender's attack as direct damage. Striking the opponent with a non-contact attack deals the attacker 100% of the damage dealt. So that's really the main thing to watch out for in the way that you play that. But as long as you play it cautiously, maybe use a little bit of class advantage here and there. It's up to you whether or not you want to use Red Guardian and try and like block the unblockables for a time while you've still got the shield up. Unless obviously the shield cracks and then you know you're it becomes a little bit more difficult. But look, burst damage, big impact damage, and all that stuff. Unless you want to use champions that indeed with Nick Fury, and you've got the pull, which is projectile-based attacks deal 100% more damage, then that could be your interaction there when it comes to like projectiles, guns, bullets, whatever. Any champion really that's got any projectiles could be very important to the way you ramp up damage. And finally, we move ourselves over to Storm Pyramid X. Now, Storm Pyramid X is a pretty interesting... Like, I'm not a massive fan of the interaction. It takes me a little bit of time to kind of like refresh myself on how to evade that SP1. And it's just remembering on the projectiles, the way they kind of function. Like there's a one throw, then there's a break, throw of another projectile, and then you've got to wait, I think it's for a third projectile. Either way, I'm just not a massive fan of that SP1, but that's the easiest one to evade. You could for this one, and I haven't put it down on the list, use a Stark Spidey if you are struggling with projectiles being thrown to you. That would be something to kind of interact with yourself quite nicely. But as well, at the same time, there's plenty of opportunity to use things like Apocalypse, use Archangel if you've got the amount of Horseman. If you can do the Horseman, then that's what I ended up using in the end. But I actually like the idea of Stark Spidey, to be honest, especially with the projectiles that could be thrown at you from the SP1, and as well, like just kind of like just the way the Champions Class advantage, smashing with big SP2s could be quite nice interaction to do that. But players have used Namor, Quake, and Ghost, Domino, Corvus, and Warlock. So those are all kind of fine interactions, especially with Warlock being and having his immunities could mean that if you aren't doing particularly well and you are getting hit with that SP1, you can at least use Warlock as being a means to kind of go, look, okay, well at least I'm not going to hit by the cold snap, I think it is. So that's something of a positive. But if you're quick to throw special attacks with it against this champion, at least you can get the glancing, which should reduce a lot of kind of like damage potential that could be coming in, which is glancing hits cannot be critical, deal 50% reduced damage and suffer 100% offense ability accuracy. And the way this reads is that this is benefit for the attacker as opposed to the defender. So that's something that could at least play to your favour on the matter. But as I said, for me, it was Archangel and Horseman. That was fun, but there are other options as we've discussed in this video. So there we go, that has been a video. Shout out to everybody in the Discord who very kindly gave their info and their input and all of the different types of champions they used in the interaction. And yeah, all I can really say is that I hope this video helped if you are thinking of doing the boss rush and aren't really sure about the perfect team for this. But yeah, that was my team. Hope you have a good grind and a good bit of fun whatever you're doing, and I'll see you all later on. Thanks for tuning on in, and check out some content recently posted up above around there, and I'll see you all later on. Thanks, bye bye.